The car market is completely broken right now. Dealerships want you to believe that you need to spend $40,000 on a brand new Toyota just to get a reliable daily driver. It is an absolute lie. Hidden in plain sight on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace are three dirt-cheap Japanese cars that most buyers completely ignore. But here is the crazy part. If you maintain them correctly, these ignored cars will easily outlast every single new Toyota on the road today. Before I give you the three cars, you need to understand why a $5,000 car from 2005 can actually outlast a $40,000 car from 2024. It all comes down to complexity. Modern new cars, even basic Toyotas, are packed with direct injection, turbochargers, complicated sensors, and electronic throttle bodies. When one of those complex parts fails out of warranty, you are looking at a massive repair bill. The three cars on this list share one common trait. They use older, naturally aspirated, port-injected engines. They do not have turbochargers, they do not have start-stop technology, they are mechanical dinosaurs. And in the world of long-term reliability, being a mechanical dinosaur is your biggest advantage. Less complexity means fewer things to break. Kicking off the list at number 3 is the first-generation Scion XB. American drivers wrote this car off completely. They call it the toaster. It is boxy, it looks like a shoe on wheels, and it has absolutely zero prestige. But underneath that weird exterior lies one of the most indestructible powertrains Toyota ever built. The first-gen XB uses the exact same 1.5-liter engine and transmission found in the Toyota Echo and the early Toyota Yaris. This engine is a masterpiece of simplicity. It is a timing chain engine that holds up incredibly well, and parts are dirt cheap because they share components with millions of other Toyotas. You can buy a clean, well-maintained first-generation XB right now for around $3,000 to $4,000. Meanwhile, a new Toyota Corolla Cross, which is essentially the modern equivalent in size, will cost you around $30,000 plus interest. The XB will hit 300,000 miles if you just change the oil. That new Corolla Cross will be fighting sensor failures and computer issues by year 5. Number 2 is a car that smart mechanics buy for themselves, but the general public ignores. The first-generation Honda Fit, specifically the models between 2007 and 2013. When this car came out, the American market was obsessed with massive SUVs and trucks. The Fit flew completely under the radar, but the 1.5-liter VTEC engine inside this little hatchback is legendary for outlasting the actual metal body of the vehicle. It is aggressively over-engineered. The real magic of the Fit, however, is its interior layout. Honda designed a magic seat system that allows the rear seats to fold completely flat, giving you more usable cargo room than a brand new Toyota RAV4 that costs 10 times the price. You can haul a bicycle, furniture, or lumber in a car that costs you $4,000. You can find these first-generation Fits all day long for $4,000 to $5,000. People ignore them because they look small from the outside, but once you own one, you realize it is a legitimate cargo van in disguise. And because it lacks the complex direct injection and turbochargers of the new Honda HR-V, that 1.5-liter engine will easily surpass 350,000 miles. And the number one dirt-cheap Japanese car that will outlast a new Toyota is the 8th-generation Honda Civic, specifically the sedan from 2006 to 2011, equipped with the 1.8-liter R18 engine. Now, everyone knows the Civic is reliable, but nobody talks about this specific generation and this specific engine. The R18 engine was Honda's answer to making an engine that was both fuel efficient and literally bulletproof. It uses a special dual-stage intake manifold and a design that drastically reduces internal friction. Unlike modern Hondas that have direct injection and turbochargers that can fail and cost thousands, the R18 is a simple, port-injected, naturally aspirated engine. You can find these 8th-generation Civics everywhere. They were produced in the millions, which means parts are cheaper than dirt at any auto parts store. You can buy a clean one with under 150,000 miles for around $5,000 to $6,000 right now. Compare that to a new Honda Civic, which is pushing $30,000. That new Civic has a turbo, direct injection, and complex emission systems. That old R18 Civic will still be driving perfectly fine when the new one is sitting in a shop waiting for a $4,000 sensor replacement. Now, there is one massive catch that you need to understand. Buying a dirt cheap Japanese car does not mean you can completely neglect it and expect it to last 400,000 miles. I see this mistake every single day in my shop. People buy a $4,000 Honda Fit or a $3,000 Scion XB, and they treat it like a disposable piece of trash. They put the cheapest $5 conventional oil in it from a gas station, they ignore the transmission fluid for 100,000 miles, and when the engine inevitably fails at 150,000 miles, they point at the car and say, "See, cheap old cars are junk." That is completely false. That is operator error. You cannot use cheap conventional oil. You must use full synthetic oil that meets the exact manufacturer specifications. You must use OEM Honda or Toyota oil filters, not the cheap aftermarket ones that trap dirt poorly. And you absolutely cannot skip transmission fluid changes. You have to follow the Japanese maintenance methods we talk about on this channel, like the hot drain and the double drain technique. If you buy that $5,000 Civic, you need to treat it like a $40,000 investment. That means changing the automatic transmission fluid every 40,000 miles using the gentle gravity method, not the high-pressure flush machine that American quick lube shops will try to sell you. Let's do the real math so you understand what you are saving. You buy a $5,000 car. You put $200 a year into premium maintenance. Over 5 years, you have spent exactly $6,000 total, and you have a car with zero debt that will easily go another 200,000 miles. Compare that to buying a new $30,000 Toyota. Between the taxes, the high interest rates, and the massive depreciation the second you drive it off the lot, that new car costs you $10,000 to $12,000 in lost value over those exact same 5 years. And you are still trapped making a $400 a month payment. Stop falling for the new car payment trap. True reliability does not cost $40,000. If you want to learn the exact Japanese maintenance method to make any of these cheap cars hit 400,000 miles, watch this video right here and hit subscribe today.